Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. This is the Tarot Card of the Year reading for the 13th Arcanum, Death, Part 1. And I want to welcome you to this reading. And this is part of a much larger series, doing a two-part reading for each of the major cards for 2025. Whether you calculate this for a card of the year, whether you are looking at your zodiacal astrology, for example, this could be 13 could be your number for 2025. This could be a look into a Scorpio reading for 2025. There's different ways that you may find connection with these readings. And so welcome. I have created a spread for this year's readings. This is a Nautilus spread based on the sacred geometry of the golden ratio, inspired by this particular magical sea creature. And there is more information about this in the description box below. Basically, we'll start at the center and then work our way out. The 13th Arcanum has been taken out of the deck for this reading. This tarot deck is called the Solara Occulto Tarot by Crimson Astaria. My goodness, this is incredible. So this is, I believe it was the last reading as well, that the Hermit card was at the very bottom of the pile. All right, so let's talk about this for a little bit. So the Hermit this year is 2025, 2 plus 5 plus 2 is 9. So that makes it heroically a Hermit year, a year of interior retreat, moving towards the light within, moving towards a deeper understanding of who we are, what it is that we would benefit from knowing if we took time to look more deeply inside. And it is also a 9 year, so this is a year of completions, great completions. It's a really important year to take reflection and winding things up. And I'm thinking of the minor 9s in the tarot are all powerful cards of reflection. Now, you have this in terms of the 13th Arcanum, and this symbol of the scythe is really important here, that this is a complete eradication of something. It is the end, and not something with lingering residual energy. And yes, of course, when something ends, energy is only transformed. I get that. But it's so important that we don't drag along bits and pieces with us. And I feel like the Fool at the heart of this reading, hi Fernanda, welcome. The Fool in the center of this reading acknowledges the fact that this is a death year, and I am completely and utterly ready for a fresh start. And yes, I can travel light. I can go off, and I don't need to know everything. I don't need to plan everything out. So this is a really good sign that the Fool card begins this journey, and it's at the heart of this reading. And I think it's a reminder that no matter how challenging things get, it is in my highest to not carry the past with me. Oh dear. Okay. So, a couple of things. One is, does the year card start at the beginning of the year or after our birthday? Hello, Wilds One. Good question, Fernanda. I mean, this is really entirely up to you. I think that you can certainly work with this energy because your birthday is not calculated into this. Actually, it is your date of birth. I don't know the answer to this question. What I have been doing personally is really, because my birthday is in August, it's more than halfway through the year, that and because time also, Fernanda, time is a thing that it's so structured, and I feel like the energy of these readings can be worked with right away because the energy is here and now, and this reading is now, and there's a reason this reading is coming forward now. So I certainly would deeply contemplate this at this time. So the Fool, right? The Fool has quite a different energy from the Seven of Swords. And I think there's something about, the Seven of Swords gets a really bad rap, this card. And sevens are all really challenging. Sevens want to move forward. You can think about, if you know anything about the tarot, Chariot energy. However, sevens also have a Venusian association, which can be a little murky at times. Questioning motivations and things like that. This is also a lunar decan, and we want to make sure that we are moving forward for the right reasons. And you have 3 cards here of moving forward. In the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Wands, taking too much stuff with you. There may be a reason that you need to claim these swords, but I want you to think about this. And one of the best examples I can give you has to do with intellectual property. In that, you've worked on an idea, you've worked on a project, and it was your idea, it was your vision, but somebody else ran with it. They either had the money, they had the ingenuity, they had the backing, something. And so you feel like they took something from you, and so you want to take it back. And I just want to caution you on this game, because there is a message here of, there's a theme of death, letting it go, right? Let I need to write it down. I just can't think on my feet sometimes. There's, you could use this with expletives. You could use this with even like a more spiritual expression. Let go and let God. Spirit's not going to come in if you're clinging to the material. we need to loosen that grip. And it wouldn't surprise me now if a Four of Pentacles showed up in this reading. Now, there is an important message in the Ten of Wands in that sometimes it's important to see things through to the finish line. Oh, thank you for that confirmation, Wild One. And it can feel like, okay, I just need to complete this. This is, sorry, I got lost in the chat there for a second. I need to focus on the reading. Let me go back. Carrying too much with you, seeing something through to the finish line. Sometimes that is important, to see something through to the end. And then you feel like, okay, if I see this through to the end, then I can let go. I would say, okay, but make sure this doesn't go on too long. How quickly can you get this done? And are you going to cause yourself any harm? Are you going to cause yourself any harm in seeing this through to the end? Would it be better to lay some of this down and lighten your load? In both of these cases here, I feel like your load is a lot too heavy. And that, it seems, is not your intention, nor is it your theme for this year. So, what is your truth? I think with the Fool showing up here, and this being a 13th year for you, you know this in your heart of hearts. And sometimes I find when the Ace of Swords, so this Ace of Swords is going to help you to cut away a bunch of stuff. It's a bit like the scythe symbol. What affirmation, what word is going to, and we have had this card show up in a reading today already. What word, what affirmation is going to help you stick to your truth on this, to stay focused? If you don't have one, write one, choose one. Because this will help to cut away all the peripheral stuff that I suppose in this mundane world seems important, but in the big picture, it's not at all. So how can you pare this down? And the thing is that wands and swords are, they're not particularly heavy like coins and cups. So you should be able to do this, particularly when you have that intention and this energy behind your year. Part of this may be like finding that personal, like taking this just about you first. Just about you. You've got to get this really clear to you. This is not about justifying any of this to the outside world. And if you think about the energy of the scythe, it's really sharp. And once you cut something, it's cut. And you want to be careful how you wield that and know when the timing is right. But honestly, it feels like it's right now. The sooner you can release this energy, the easier things are going to become. So world. There is massive opening possibilities for you. Very, I would say, early in this year. And I'm going to, just bear with me, I'm going to give my old eye of the needle story again. Okay, so this is goes back to Jerusalem, the sacred city. And to go into the sacred city of Jerusalem, you arrive and you've got your camel and you've got your goats tied behind you, and on your camel you have all kinds of things packed on the camel, and you have side bags and God knows what else you have in tow. But in order to get into the city, you have to take everything off your camel in order to get through that narrow opening. And with all those people lined up behind you, are they going to be patient enough for you to get the camel through, get all your bags and your goats and everything through, and then you're going to load everything back up on the camel and then walk into the city? Or are you going to decide just to leave your stuff? Maybe even leave your camel and walk in alone. Saturn. This is a card of Saturn. And when I think of this planet, and when we think of the tree of life and the Sephira of Binah, and this idea of the great mother, of the queens, of birth, and this passageway is such a wonderful opportunity for a fresh start. But you can't take it all with you. And yes, this is a sort of truth. Yes, this is a sort of finding your word and your voice and all of that. But I think this sword was also going to help you to cut all of this out. Okay? It's really important that you reflect on this relationship of the journey of the hermit, what you are leaving behind, and what you do and do not carry. Okay? All right. Now, if you would like to go deeper with this reading, please follow me to part 2. Here is the link for you. And if this reading is resonating, would you please help me by subscribing to this channel and liking the video? I appreciate your support so much. Okay. And I will be back tomorrow, carrying on. This is about a 4-day project here that I'm in the midst of. And the part 2 videos are a members only feature, and that is also a way to help support my work. Have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. Namaste. You're welcome, Fernanda.